everybody, my name is Toni Darroch and welcome to my live studio today here in Wakefield. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a guest presenter on Create and Craft, and I love anything to do with craft items, whether it be a watercolour tube right through to a piece of paper or a die. And I know you like the same as well, that's why you tune in week on week. In today's studio we are going to be doing two demonstrations using some of our earlier products and some of our new products. If you are watching on Facebook, don't forget to drop a comment about the card, whether you've liked it, is it something you will try, or is it something you do all the time and absolutely love. Please let me know. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button. This encourages everybody else to do the same, and it's just a nice channel to be at where there's loads of inspiration and we all share each other's things. And it's just a lovely place to be. Once you enter Stamps by Me's YouTube, you're probably never going to want to come out of it. So in today's studio, we are going to be using these few products I've got on my desk here. Now I have been asked, just move them over, I have been asked by a few customers, can we use the abstract powders? So I'm going to be using those in today's studio live, and I'm going to show you maybe how to get the most out of them if you have purchased them. Any of the products that we use live in studio you can purchase from our website. All you need to do is go to you need to go to our search engine on our website and pop FBL in the search engine, and it'll bring up everything that's live in the studio. This prevents you from having to search around the website and find everything. However, if you don't want to buy the products, that's also okay. You might have something in your stash that will work with the technique we're going to use in live studio today, so don't worry about it. You don't have to have our products to watch this show. It's more about the inspiration. So in the first video that we're going to do, I am going to use the Tell Me a Story stamp set. I know a lot of you have got these already and have been playing, and there's been some beautiful makes. And then in our second one, we're going to be using one of last year's Christmas stamps. It's the Baubles, and we're going to be using one of the lovely sentiments from this year's release. In the abstract powders, they come in a box like so, and they've got the colours on the top here. So I've got blue, pink and orange. These ones are mine, so you can see here the colours on the sides. So if you are going to go for any of the colours, pick the colour that you love and what you think will work best on your projects at home. So let's go into our first demo. I'm conscious in last studio we spent a lot of time talking through brand new products, and I love to launch brand new products, but it does eat away at the time for demonstration, so we're going to crack straight on today. So I'm just going to grab my Eureka. And I've got my paint palette from last studio. These are all the paints we used in the last live, and these are the mica powders that we're going to use in show today. I haven't wiped it, I'm not going to waste it, it's going to be there for me to use all the time. These palettes are available on the website as well. So I'll just set that aside. So first off, I'm going to stamp out this stamp set first, and I'm going to use the stamp that is the longest one in the set. Just 1 second. So I'm going to be using the one that looks like it's laying flat. This one here. So, and we're going to use some heat embossing today. So rather than your traditional stamping, we're going to do a bit of heat emboss on this one. And we're going to do tone on tone. So black embossing powder onto black cardstock. So I'm just going to pop the cardstock into my Eureka here. I'm just going to hold it in place. And then I'm just going to position the stamp face down onto my artwork. So I'm going to pop it on a little bit of an angle, so it looks like it's actually sat. And then I'm just going to pick up the stamp. And because we are heat embossing, I'm just going to use an anti-static bag, get rid of any moisture on the card, and this will make it look really nice and clean and tidy. And we use a sticky ink pad, and we're just going to go and lightly tap the stamp all over with the sticky ink pad. Now I'm confident that's stamped, I can only just see it, but I'm just going to do it one more time just in case we have missed any of the areas. So we are going to do a black embossing today, black on black, and you'll see why in a second. It looks like a really classic looking card. You see there? So when we heat set that, it will go shiny. So make sure your gun is good and hot before you pop it on the card. This will stop your card from having lumps and bumps in it. So as soon as it's hot enough, pop it straight onto your artwork, and the powder will go from a dull matte to a glossy finish. Just zoom in so you can catch it a little bit better. There we go. Thank you. And then you'll see. Thank you. So you can see there, it looks really, really glossy. It looks really, really beautiful. I'm going to leave the camera zoomed in for now though, because I am going to paint so you can actually see the effect. So I'm just going to give that a second to cool off and get in my painting station, should we say. I'm just going to move the stamp for now. Pop it to one side. Now if you haven't got this, don't worry about it. You can use the door on your Eureka. You can use a clear piece of acetate, albeit you will have to wipe them away, but it does serve a purpose for the time that you are going to be using it. So don't worry about it. So I'm going to paint this with the mica. Now I always say with mica powder, the thicker you put it on, the more chance you have of it rubbing off. So start light and thin, and then you can build on it if you want to. So this is what I started with earlier. I'm just reactivating it with a little bit of water. So when I say you only need a little bit, I'll just show you how much you need. So you just need to pop the tip of the paintbrush into the paint. That's all you need. And add it to the water. If you want to make it darker and thicker, that's okay. Just make sure you spray your artwork with some hairspray or something just to set it, and then it won't rub off. So I'm just going to drop this colour into this stamp here very lightly, and as you can see, the black lines resist the colour. So I've popped it on, but you can't really see it, so I'm just going to go in and add more detail. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more because it's really difficult to see this black on black. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. So I'll just keep going with it. It's just showing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a light layer first, and then I can build on it if I want to. So I'm just dropping the abstract powders in there like so. And what will happen is once you've completed the full image, your artwork will come to life. I'm not sure if it's showing very well on camera. It's a little bit difficult with the lighting in here, but I'm still going for it because I can see that it is going to look amazing. So this is a really, really light layer that I'm popping down. It's best always to go light first and build on it. If it's too dark, you can't really take it away. But if it's lighter, you can build on it. So we can see the flower head coming to life there. So I'm just going to do them all in the same colour on this one. I have a second demo where I do use the other colours too. So you'll be able to see how different they all are. There's a little bud there. So I'm just going to dry that off with my gun. Just push it up a little bit so you can see. There we go. And as the drier it gets, the brighter it gets. So to add some dimension to this, I'm going to drop a little bit of orange. You see this orange here? I'm just going to pick up some of this orange, not much, and I'm just going to drop it from the centre where there would naturally be a shadow. Not much, just a little bit. So rather than a magnolia now, it's looking a little bit like blossom. So it just goes to show if you just change the colour slightly, you can end up with a totally different look. I'm going to just take this orange down the stem of the flower too, so it's not floating. Just going to dry that. So if you have like a big lump you don't like, it's okay, it reactivates with water, you can just go back in and change it. So to just get rid of the floatiness of it, because it just looks like it's sat on my card floating, I'm just going to take some of the pink again, which is on my mat here, some of the pink. It's really pale as this pink now, it's practically diluted back to nothing. So I'm just going to pick some of this pink up and I'm just going to drop some underneath, very lightly, as if it would cast a shadow, if it was sat down on something. So it's drying back to practically nothing is that. So I'm just going to pick some more of the pink up. And you can see how much I'm picking up there, just the tiniest amount. I'm just going to go in again, a little bit darker. Like I said to you, always start lighter and build. If you put it on too dark, it's difficult to get off. So I'm just doing it in a little bit of a stage, this, measuring how dark I want it really. So we can see that it's starting to look like it's not floating anymore. I'm just going to go a little bit darker. There we go. And just to add some more detail to it, I am going to take some of the white from Monday's studio. I'm just going to pick a little bit up of it, activate it a little bit. Get a nice lot, get my brush loaded on there, and then I'm just going to pop some little white splashes around. Not many, just because I want it to be delicate really, rather than in your face. Like so, I'm just going to leave that as is. And I'm just going to dry that off. So you can see that, oh, it's better on its side, you can see there. Make sure it's absolutely dry. I know there's been 2 or 3 of you that have asked for me to do these abstract powders, so I hope you're watching. If you're not, don't forget that you can watch the videos at a later date or even this evening if you want to. They never go away. they're always going to be there. So let's get a sentiment on here. And to keep in with the theme, I am going to just use a largest sentiment, and I'm just going to heat emboss it too. Now I think probably a white embossed sentiment would look really nice on this one, so I'm just going to pop my stamp face down. I'm going to bring it quite close to my artwork. I like my sentiments like not floating like up here. It doesn't sit right on the eye, so I always like my sentiments quite close to wherever I'm working. So I'm going to bring it quite close in here, maybe a little bit higher. Make sure it's straight. And because we're going to heat emboss it again, I am just going to make sure we don't get any moisture in my card. That's stamped fine. So I think we will go for a gold, albeit black would look nice, but it won't show up very well on the camera for you, so I'm trying to stay away from that. You can see there. Thanks for everything. So I'm going to heat set this one, now we'll get it mounted onto our card. So just zoom in for you a little bit, and then so you can see. Thank you. And then just as soon as my gun's hot enough, I'll pop it onto the artwork and the powder will instantly change. There we have, so thank you. So the powder, when you've heat embossed it like that, just give it a second, you know, because it is hot at the moment. As soon as it's fine, and then all you need to do with a dry cloth is give your artwork a good old brush, should I say, and it'll get rid of that nasty powder from your anti-static bag. Just set this aside, and we'll get this onto our card. So I've just got a top folding note card here, and traditionally I would put some colour behind, but because I don't want to take my eye away from the card itself, I'm just going to stick it absolutely flat. Now if you do like dimension and sparkle and colour, you can obviously do, it's your card, you can do exactly what you want, but I just feel that the image on this lends itself so well to being the focal point rather than being hidden by lots of sparkle. Could pop some gems on there too if you wanted to. I know a lot of you have got these abstract powders, so they'll work fabulous with your Christmas cards too, so dig them out. I'll just give that a second to grab. Dig them out and have a play with them because they are really lovely. It's one of those understated items that you buy, you use a couple of times, and then you think, oh, I forgot about those. So you can see there. Quite a pretty card. If you wanted to make it bold and beautiful, you could use the brighter colours, it's entirely up to you. But I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm going to pop it under something so it gets rid of all the lumps and bumps, so it'll dry nicely. So let's move on to our second demonstration then. I'll just set this one aside. And we're going to use the baubles on this one. So ahead of time, just in case we did run out of time, I've done a little bit of the work. So it's these baubles here, so these are our last year's launch, but still one of my favourites, albeit everything I create is my favourite. So you get the 3 baubles in there, 3 varying shapes. So I did this in watercolour last year, heavily in watercolours because I love watercolours, but today we're going to do them in the abstract powders. So I'm just going to grab my Eureka again. I'm just going to take that sentiment off and grab my stamp set and some white card. So again, we're going to do the black on black technique, but you could do them in white embossing, gold, whatever you like. So I'm just going to set them up so they actually look like baubles hung at varying lengths. So one lower, one a little bit higher. Spread them out a little bit. So I'm just going to use the bag again. So I have got one done ahead of time, but I will quickly show you how I coloured one of these before I show you the one I've done ahead of time. So I'll just set this aside for now. And we'll just pop some black embossing powder on here again. It looks beautiful in gold embossing powder. Use whatever you've got in your stash. I'm sure it'll look just as gorgeous. You can just see, there you go, you can just see it there. So I'm just going to heat set this one. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you can just see the glossiness of it. Thank you. As soon as you put your gun on, the powder should change. You just see that there. So I'm just going to leave the camera zoomed in for the time being, and I'm just going to paint this, say this bauble here, just so you can see. And it does need to be close like it is so you can see what's going on. So with the same, can't really see my palette now, but with the same colours as what we've put on our mat before, we'll just go for this one here. Now, you can colour them in traditionally, fill in the spaces and do what you want to do, but for this one we're going to go for a little bit of an abstracty feel, so it's got a bit of a bleed. So let's go for one of the other colours we haven't used. So let's go for the purpley bluey colour. So I'm just activating this blue here, and this one is, yeah, it is, it's just called blue. There is a purple one also, you can see that there. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to colour the top of this bauble here. I'm not sure if is it showing? It is. So I'm just popping the colour in within the lines. So because I'm colouring something that's circular, you would never colour down. You would always colour round like that, and it would give the appearance of something that's not symmetrical, circular. So you'd always bring your colour round like so, and it will make your bauble look round. You see that there? So it looks like it's got a little bit of light and shade in there. We'll do for the bottom one as well. I'll just get a bit more of the orange. So a little bit of the orange there, not much. Pop it on my palette. I'm just going to pop the orange in the centre here. So again, you could do it as light or as dark as you wanted to. It's already looking circular there. So what I'm going to do though is just to be a little bit different, because you know me, I never like to be the same as anybody else. I'm just going to get some water And I'm just going to do a bit of a bleed around the side of this bauble here, blob of water. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up some of the orange. I'm just going to spot it in to that loose water there. Can you see that there? Pop it flat. There we go. Just make it a little bit darker. Can we see that there? Yeah. So I'm just spotting the orange in there, and what will happen when the water dries, which I'm going to blast it off now with my gun, it'll give you like a bit of a abstracted bleed effect, if that makes any sense at all. Both of my guns have now decided not to work. My heat tool. Anyway, so you can see that there. So here's one I coloured. See this here? So if we just zoom out a little bit, you can see this more clearly. Can we see that there? Yeah. So I did exactly the same as what I've done on this wet one. Thank you. On this wet one, and you can see here how it's dried. It looks a bit galaxified. It looks like we've got a lot of some galaxies on there, but they're actually baubles. So you just have to draw the line in. So let's get a sentiment on here. You know, when you pop your colour in this wet element here though, I really did want to show you with the gun to not be scared of it, because it looks like a hot muddy mess because it's wet, but as soon as the water dries out, you end up with this lovely like texture element around your baubles here. Can you see this here? So don't be scared to have a go. And again, as I always say, it is a bit of paper. Don't be scared to play with these things. So let's get a sentiment on here. So I'm going to be using this sentiment from the large sentiments that we just launched this time round, Christmas Blessings. And we'll do this one in gold as well. So I'm just going to line it up across the bottom here. Oh, take the baubles off. Just going to anti-static that area. And then with the sticky ink pad again. That's stamped fine. So I'll do this one in gold. So you can see there it's in keeping with our baubles. Let's hope my gun works, hey? Let me just unplug it and try again. No, it's not having any of it. It's not doing it, Tim. Don't worry about it, it's fine. You can see there, when it's heat set, it will be absolutely fine. So that would be mounted onto a card and it would look absolutely gorgeous. Now, if you wanted to, you could draw the strings in across the top of them so it does look like a hanging bauble, because there is the loops there. You can see that there. The loops are there to draw the strings in. Or if you want to use twine and pop it up there and wrap it around the back of the card, you could also do that. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. I'm sorry I haven't been able to finish the card due to my heat gun. This is a problem we do have often at Stamps by Me, but you do get the idea. You saw me heat set the other one. So I've got two beautiful cards there using the abstract powders and varying other products within our new range and our old range. I hope you've enjoyed today's studio, and if you have got the abstract powders, please make sure you get them out and have a play with them, because they are so much fun. I am back with you on Monday, 4 p.m, with some more lovely inspiration for you all. So whatever you're doing, Have a great evening. The sun is out, take good care of yourselves. Nobody needs to get in sunstroke and things like that, and I will catch you all next Monday at 4 p.m. Take care everyone. Bye.